Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well today. Welcome to another episode of High Caliber. I'm your host, Martin Riggs. Today I've got a very fun battle to show you here in the Genova, or Genova. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I'm not really sure, but I'm probably going to say both a couple times throughout the video. Now, this ship, when I first got it as part of the release of the Italian cruiser line, I must admit I really did not like it. I thought it was weak, underpowered. Guns felt obviously very slow to reload at 20 seconds. DPM just wasn't there. But since the recent SAP changes, I feel like the ship is a bit better. It's a little bit more versatile. And I've also been trying to incorporate switching ammo types more frequently into my gameplay. And I've really started to fall in love with this ship, honestly, which I know probably sounds silly to a lot of you, but this game is going to end up being really fun. And I have to admit, I'm having more and more games like this in the Genova. They're just fun. I mean, you're going to get blapped sometimes. It's unavoidable. You are a floating citadel. Think Italian version of the Emerald, if you will. But it's actually quite fun. I also now have Luigi Sansonetti, the special Italian captain, on here as well. And one thing I can't recommend enough with all the Italian cruisers is the expert loader skill. SAP is good for doing consistent damage overall, but where the ships really excel is taking advantage of opportunities where you can use your AP. So you want to be able to switch to that quickly. Now you see here it's a 10-on-10 game, so not a full 24-player match, and there are still 3 CVs. So there's a lot of aircraft here, as you can see, and we're going to end up shooting down quite a few planes. Now the AA is not particularly good on the Genova. However, it is very maneuverable. It does turn quite well, has really good rudder shift, so you can actually mitigate a lot of damage that way. So far we've only fired 1 salvo, and we've whiffed. The spotter plane is also a very nice tool on this ship as well. Give you some of those elevated angles. And the torpedo reload is extremely fast. You have 8-kilometer torps, 2 tubes of 2 on each side, really good flexible torpedo angles. So you can put a lot of torpedoes in the water quickly. Now they are slow, very slow torpedoes, often referred to affectionately as sea mines, but you can definitely do some work in them, or some work with them rather. So there's our Emerald. Got the AP loaded. Hoping for a good hit here. Unfortunately, the back guns clip that island. And I mistimed that shot a little bit. They just sneak out ahead of us. I'm going to try another salvo with the AP here. Looks pretty good. Get a nice citadel there. Put a little fear into him. Certainly could have been better. The AP can be really effective against cruisers, especially at tier 5. Gets a bit more difficult if you get up tiered, without a doubt. But if you're playing tier 4, tier 5 matches, AP is really solid. Get a double citadel on that one. So that Emerald is definitely hurting. But we're actually going to turn and focus our efforts here. See, this Koenig is pushing in. And we're kind of going to go into sort of YOLO mode here, honestly. We've got the Koenig for support. Got the SAP loaded. We're going to try and work on this destroyer. That's the biggest threat to the Koenig. So I'm going to try and keep him alive as best I can. And I feel like the best way to do that is to probably take out the Clemson. I'm launching some torpedoes at the New York. Again, the torpedo angle is very flexible. You can see there. And also very fast reload. A couple good hits on the Clemson there. They're just reversing, so they're making it pretty easy on us. I'm going to line up a couple more torpedoes here. Got a lot of ships over here. This is pretty dangerous. And we're actually going to get the torp kill on the New York there. So YOLO complete. The Clemson is almost dead. Need to get one more shot on them to finish them off here. Trying to keep an eye on these planes too. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of them in this game. So there's the Clemson down. And, oh, look at this. We got a host show right here. Well, this is exciting. So somehow we haven't taken that much damage. We are pretty much in full YOLO mode here. And somehow we still have 24,000 hit points. We're actually capping the base, but I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. I really want to push this host show. We're very close to them. We've got good shots in the Langley as well. I want to try and knock these CVs out of the game. So sap ammo, I think, is a good choice here. That way you avoid the overpens. And here's the host show. We're going to start launching some torpedoes at them. You want to try and use those torpedoes as often as you can in the Genova, and all the Italian cruisers for that matter. The more often you use them, just the more effective they're going to be. Just take advantage of that short reload. Going to turn towards the host show, launch torps from the other side here. Now you can see they are pretty slow. We missed that first salvo because they turned away. Got our secondaries going off on the host show as well. And we're going to hit one torpedo, two torpedoes there. And they're still barely alive. Look at this, 460 hit points. I'm really hoping that my secondaries take care of it. And my division mate in the other Genova actually takes care of them with the secondaries as well. So, a little close quarters expert there for our friend. And we got this Matsuki coming around the corner as well. I've got SAP loaded. This is the ammo type you want to use against destroyers. Couple good hits there. Down to 537. And this is where the reload is unfortunately going to hurt us here. You can see that they're able to sneak away and get undetected, and we still don't have even a blind fire shot to take. They're so low. It's really disappointing. Gonna start launching some more torpedoes at the Langley. And we're trying to actively maneuver as much as possible. Keep that bow in to the torpedoes. We'll take that one before it arms, so that's always good. If you're unable to dodge torpedoes, you might think about trying to run into them before they can arm. So that is one viable strategy. Rocket planes hit us pretty good there. Get a SAP Citadel. You can get Citadels with the SAP ammo. And the other Genova is going to take care of that guy. So now we're going to turn our focus to this Marblehead. I'm going to throw out some torps there in case they turn. And you can see the maneuverability here. Pretty good. Able to dodge that torpedo salvo. Nice 5,000 damage hit there. Up over 100,000 damage here in the Genova. And they're not turning broadside, which is a smart play. We're just going to try and keep hitting them with that sap. And I think this is where I make a mistake, honestly. The Marblehead does have torpedoes, and I continue to push at them here, which in hindsight I really shouldn't have done. Get another good salvo there. So that's the other side of the torpedoes that the Marblehead threw. We're going to take this shot, and we get really unfortunate dispersion there. I turned kind of broadside here, thinking I could kill them with the back guns, and it didn't happen. And I was really disappointed, and now they got torpedoes away, and they're going to get us. So really unfortunate there. A bit of a misplay on my part in terms of pushing them so much, but also at the same time, just really unlucky that I wasn't able to kill them with that salvo before they turned and got those torpedoes away. So I was a bit disappointed there, but nonetheless, a super fun battle. You can see on the mini-map here too, that Matsuki is still alive, and they had about 500 hit points. The Marblehead is still alive, and they have 69 hit points, I think it was, or 67. Something very low. So all in all, a really fun battle here, but disappointing that we, couldn't finish off those two targets. And now with just the Hermes left here, we're actually going to lose this battle. Unfortunately, also the Furitaka is going to make this take like 3 or 4 minutes, I think, because they actually try and get a secondary kill on the Hermes. They're trying to troll a little bit here in the end. So I won't make you all sit through that. We do end up losing this battle, sadly. But all in all, a couple of kills, 6 torpedo hits, 121,000 damage for the Genova. Not a bad game. I was really happy with this. I was laughing the whole time, having a great time. And I think that if you have the right approach to the Genova, it can be one of those sort of silly meme ships where you just have a good time in it. So, since the SAP ammo has been sort of redone, I might encourage you to, go try it again. See if you can, make it work. I find it actually quite fun. You will get blapped. You will get dev struck sometimes. It is a ship that you have to be very careful in, and the reload is obviously very slow. But at the same time, I feel like it can be a really fun ship. So maybe go try it out. If you played it before, you didn't like it, maybe give it another shot. You can be pleasantly surprised, I think. It was actually quite fun. So I'll show you the build real quick that I'm using, and we'll also take a look here at the end game score. Alright, so here's our end game score here. You can see got 121,000 damage, over almost 500,000 credits earned, not too shabby, and 1,500 base XP. You can see there Furitaka and Marblehead both had really solid games there. And overall, just a really fun, silly game. Triple CV, but we made it work. So not too bad overall. And let's go show you the build here real quick that I'm using on the Genova as well. Alright, so here's the build for the Genova. Since it's a tier 5, it's going to be pretty straightforward. You just have the damage control and then spotter plane. You have the option of a fighter if you're running into a lot of trouble with carriers. Certainly a viable option. I prefer the spotting aircraft, in part because the Genova has a kind of floaty high shell arc, and this is really helpful for hitting those shots over islands where a cruiser might be camping. Gives you a chance to get those nice citadels with the AP. So that's what I've chosen to go with here, is spotter plane. As for upgrades, you don't have a lot of options again. I've elected for aiming system mod 1. Nothing else here is really of value in my opinion. Here you've got a couple of different options. You got damage con 1 is a viable option. I've elected to go with steering gears. Because the ship is so squishy, I really want to make sure that I'm able to turn and angle as much as possible. I feel like that's the most important thing when playing the Genova, is to be able to continue to turn and maneuver. And then main armament mod 1. This will just improve the survivability of your main battery and torpedo tubes, so that's always good. And that's it for the upgrades. As for the captain, I am now using Luigi Sansonetti. Highly recommend that if you have the opportunity to, that you obtain them. I cannot recommend this skill enough, Expert Loader. Luigi Sansonetti also gets a buff to this. This is usually minus 50% time to switch shells. This now becomes negative 75%. So on the Genova with a 20-second reload, switching shells takes 5 seconds. So that's huge. If you have SAP loaded and you think, ooh, this cruiser's turning broadside, I want that AP, you can have it ready in 5 seconds. It comes in handy. I can't stress that enough. And it also plays really well on the rest of the Italian cruiser line. I've also elected for Adrenaline Rush. You'll want to get Expert Marksman at some point, I think, just to improve that turret traverse. I'm not sure that Torpedo Acceleration is viable on this line. The torpedoes are very slow, but it's not really their speed that is something that's really... It's not going to help you that much, I don't think. They're pretty sneaky torpedoes, they're stealthy, and the reload on them is pretty good, so you're really just looking to capitalize on volume of torpedoes. You're shooting these at the corner of islands and such, so I don't know if Torpedo Acceleration will be good. It might be a personal preference thing. I've also taken Superintendent here. This will help once you have a heal, once you get to the Brindisi and the Italian cruiser line. Concealment is important, I think, on all cruisers for the most part. And it really helps the Genova here. You get your detection down to 10.3, which allows you to outspot most other cruisers at your tier. So that's very helpful. Allows you to get that first shot AP salvo that I keep talking about. I feel like I reiterate that quite a bit. But you really need to find the opportunities to use the AP when playing the Genova. And then the SAP ammo is really there to sort of give you some essentially guaranteed damage. So you get some assured damage for the most part. But if you really need to hit stuff hard, you want to use that AP. So that's the build. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our silly Genova video. I certainly enjoyed this game. Again, I was just having a great time with this one, laughing super hard the whole time because it was pretty silly. And if you're interested in seeing some live gameplay, I'll leave the link for our Twitch channel in the description below. And thank you so much, everybody, and have a wonderful day.